Hey, how you doing, Daniel? Here is Ties on the Writer's Life. Another slow August day. It was warmer out there. Took a walk this afternoon. Forgot to get milk. Bit of an OCD with milk, really. I do drink a lot of milk after going 10 years without drinking any milk in my younger days. I would just have a bit with my cereal as a kid. I just really didn't like it. Then from 91 onwards, milk every day. Obviously, I'm concerned because of the amount of plastic bottles I'm getting through. I've made a lot of improvements elsewhere, but I would have thought that most supermarkets, if not all, would have been addressing the milk bottle issue now. What else? Took a wonder to my aunt and uncles this afternoon. Good to see them. Trying to get them to make a few changes to their life, which is not easy, with the elderly. I mean, I'm a bit like that myself. As I say, I don't like holidays. I like going to the cafe every day. Right now, I haven't gone since Monday, so it's been a really slow, dull week. I work better in the cafe than I do at home. I just like to write. I like to create stuff every day. I don't really want to go on a holiday. I just want to be free to do what I like to do, what I love doing, what I need to do, and hopefully from that, I can kind of build a life around that. That's what I want. Trying to persuade my aunt and uncle to embrace internet shopping, so they can do their weekly shop online. Of course, I don't expect them to grasp the internet, but my cousin and I would alternate, take turns, doing it for them, having no joy in persuading them to sign up to some broadband deal. And I remember, in the early noughties when my aunt used to come every weekend to my flat in West Norwood. She's always quite a restless character, needs to be active all the time. And I think that's why it's very difficult for her now to be at an age where the decline has been so noticeable that she can't do much because she's always someone that needs to do something, usually cleaning. She loves cleaning. So she'd come round cleaning the flat and she'd say to me, "Where's your internet? Do you want me to clean that?" She couldn't grasp that the internet wasn't something physical that could be dusted. Also trying to persuade them maybe to change their doctor. No tremor, no tremor. Just looking at this, yeah. I think the camera's steady. Maybe I'm going to get extra views in this video. People coming to see this channel for the ghoulish spectacle of some tremor that might hint at some hidden illness. Uh, yeah, camera's holding steady. Where was I? Trying to get them to change their doctor as well. They still see my old doctor. I mean, I occasionally see my old doctor, but he's of an age now. He's in his 70s. His peak medical years are behind him. For me, the fact that he wears braces and a belt, that's enough for me to say there's something going on there. I tried a few other younger doctors for a while before I settled on the current guy who's really good. Took about maybe 3, 4 years to, get this new doctor to see everything I have. It's imagined ailments and, some may be real ailments, but, managing to get scans for every part of the body, even if I didn't need them. I just wanted to see how comfortable this guy was as a doctor, how comfortable we could be together. And I think the only way to do that sometimes is just to completely strip off of them and be prodded. And, we got past that now, so I'm kind of settled down with this doctor. I think he'd be a good doctor for them, but like I say, the elderly, they don't like change. My aunt, you can't take the Southern Spaniard out of her. I just got in, I'd made her a coffee. My uncle didn't want a coffee. He just got back from the hospital. He was, as usual, in an unbuttoned shirt and shorts. And he'd sat down, we were chatting. He was showing me a letter from the hospital, what medication he's on now. And my aunt stands up, she's pointing towards his groin, and she just says, "I can see your balls." My uncle and I, we didn't really acknowledge this. We just tried to continue our conversation. My uncle, my aunt is typically Andalusian, the southern Spanish are very coarse. My uncle isn't. He's not a vulgar guy. So we continued talking. My aunt remained standing in her position. Then she was just pointing again. She says, yeah, I can see them. And, the moment needed a bit of acknowledgement. And then I made sure I turned away as my uncle adjusted his shorts. Thankfully, I hadn't seen anything. But, yeah, she's not the most discreet person. So it was good to see them, good to have a coffee with them, did a bit of shopping afterwards. As I think I might have said, forgot to get some milk. Got home via the bus. I'm on the bus and I'm just looking around at the amount of people talking, particularly women talking on their phones. And I think I'm only noticing the amount of women talking on their phones because I'm a guy, because I'm sure there are as many guys talking on their phones. But, as a guy, I look at the women talking and think to myself, I could not be... Slight tremor there, and I think that's just, can you see that? And I think that's just because of the way, the amount of time I'm holding this phone. So I've just changed my grip on the phone now. Hopefully that'll be better. But yeah, when I see women on the phone, perhaps to their boyfriends, husbands, partners, I'm just thinking, okay, I'm on my own, but I wouldn't really be up for that. I wouldn't be up for these lengthy phone conversations. Often, you just find yourself getting into arguments with, when you're making unnecessary phone calls. I'm okay face to face. I don't mind talking face to face, but let's do it face to face. I don't want to be on the phone. I just want to get on with my evening. It's a kind of surprise to me because as a kid I was obsessed with getting a house phone because we didn't have one. I was always in, public phone boxes or using, phones at friends' houses. Then I got we got our house phone in September 90. But after 4 or 5 years, when good friends, close friends, were calling me regularly and keeping me on the phone regularly, I was just, God, I don't really want this, If I was going to, if I wanted to speak to my friends, I'd just go and visit them, I don't want to be on the phone for an hour. So I just found it a bit invasive. Mickey Boyd, he does, he doesn't call me as often as he used to, but he does love to talk, that guy. Obviously, he's driving around, will be on his hands free. And I don't mind it, but sometimes I think, if he was a woman, I couldn't be with him because he does love to talk, that guy. So yeah, even though I'm on my own, I just wouldn't be up for that kind of relationship where if you're not together, you're on the phone to each other. That's just not something I'm interested in. Got back to the building, a couple of letters for the neighbour, pushed them through under her door. I always leave them peeking out a bit. Don't push them completely under the door because it's my way of being able to tell if she's okay. If after a couple of days, say Saturday morning, those letters are still sticking out of, from under her door, I'm thinking there might be something wrong. So I contact her. There's no way I think of, well, unless she doesn't get her OK magazine, maybe she'd raise the alarm because it does concern me that I might well be the kind of guy who's found, lifeless in a flat a couple of months after the actual event, full of, maggots and blue bottles buzzing around. That's a concern. I need to set up a system. I need to get something in place. Being a big Sherlock Holmes fan, I've read a lot of Conan Doyle biographies, and towards the end of his life, he got involved in a fair few high-profile crime cases. And the last one I read, I think it was an elderly woman, it might have been Glasgow, if not Edinburgh, it was definitely up in Scotland. She had a system with her neighbours, her downstairs neighbours, whereby if there were any problems, if she was feeling ill, if she, felt something was going wrong, she would bang on their floor 3 times. The only time she did that was the night she was murdered. The neighbour heard the 3 bangs, rushed outside. I think they might have seen someone fleeing the scene, but that was it. It was too late. But the system was effective. It just happened to be too late. It was only employed once, the 3 bangs, and unfortunately for the woman, she was killed. But I kind of, I don't get on with all the neighbours in the building, so that's a problem. I'm limited as to what kind of system I could employ, but it's something I need to have a think about, going forward. None of us are getting any younger. If something does happen, you want to be found quickly. Just a thought. Subscribe to the channel. Let's see some growth. No growth at all. Let's see some growth. Share it with your friends. Tell your friends about this channel, and I'm sure that I will chat to you tomorrow. I hope your day has been good, and I hope your evening is a good one too. Take care.